Okay, welcome to the Sarpy County Board of Equalization meeting. It's 3:00 p.m. on Tuesday, March 14th, 2023. Please silence all cell phones. A copy of the Nebraska Open Meetings Act is located on the north wall of the county boardroom. We have present today Commissioners Nixon, Warren, Klug, Kelly, and Burmeister, along with our County Administrator Dan Hoynes and our Deputy County Clerk Renee Landsman. We also have our County Assessor Dan Pittman in the room, and I think I got everybody today. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We'll move to the consent equalization agenda. Does anybody want to see any items removed from the consent agenda?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Warren, seconded by Commissioner Mixon. Any discussion? Please vote.
Ayes 5, nays none, motion carried.
Item 5.1 is Form 451 exemption application for Hope International University, parcel 010404929. Request for a waiver of filing deadline to allow for assessor review. Dan Pittman, assessor.
Good afternoon. Hope International University operates in Sarpy County as a Nebraska Christian college. They did not, they file an exemption application every year. They did not file this year. And when they did file, it was past the exemption deadline. So they would like to be considered, so they're asking for a waiver.
Any questions of Dan?
Dan, do you have the tax implication on that? I mean, how much tax are we talking about here?
Well, this, Commissioner Mixon, this would be just a waiver. We're going to get into that when that application actually comes before you, maybe in a couple weeks. Mm-hmm. And then we'll be ready for that. Legal is looking at some stuff for me on that.
Okay, perfect. The other thing is, I know this is about the third one we've done here in the last several weeks. And so you're going to be reviewing them and then with legal, is that correct?
Right.
To see if there's anything we can do or...
Yeah. Actually, what happens is once you say, okay, assessor, go ahead and give us a recommendation. When I make that recommendation, sometimes it's for a denial.
Okay.
And I'm real careful with denials because I'm not an attorney and it's all about law. So I write down my opinion, give it to the county attorney's office, and they look at it and tell me, well, this is how it looks in the law, or they look at case law. And then usually the approvals kind of slide right through, like everything looks great. But if it doesn't look quite right, I don't just go by what I say. I let legal look at it.
Because you can give a recommendation in legal and then state of Nebraska could kick it back, or in this case, or not.
Yeah, they could. My real concern is that I get up here and make a recommendation, and the county board has a question, and we should, in my mind, we should be ready for those questions. So we try to anticipate what you might ask. Okay. But you're right, the state, if they don't like what the county board did, they may question it.
Okay, so they could, even though we could, after the waiver and everything, and we could go along and then the state could kick it back.
Yeah,
okay.
But typically, Sarpy County, we do a pretty good job with them. They don't kick that many back to us.
All right, well, I'm glad we're doing at least the due diligence, and obviously it would, obviously if everybody met their deadline, we wouldn't have this issue, and I get that, yeah. But I'm glad at least we're looking at all the avenues, and I appreciate that. Thank you.
Make a motion to approve. Second.
Move to approve by Commissioner Klug, second by Commissioner Warren. Any discussion?
Is the applicant here?
Is anybody here from the applicant? Doesn't look like it.
Okay.
Please vote.
Ayes 5, nays none, motion carried.
Item 5.2 is tax corrections 17140 to 17143. Dan Pittman, County Assessor.
These are pretty small ones. Are there any questions on these?
Questions for Dan?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Klug, seconded by Commissioner Mixon. Any discussion? Please vote.
Ayes 5, nays none, motion carried.
All agenda items having been addressed as published, the Board of Equalization is adjourned. Set up for the Board of Commissioners. You ready? Okay, welcome to the Sarpy County Board of Commissioners meeting. It is now 3:05 on Tuesday, March 14, 2023. We have present Commissioners Kelly, Klug, Mixon, and Warren and Burmeister, along with the County Administrator Dan Hoynes and the Deputy County Clerk Renee Landsman. Commissioners, comments and announcements, starting with Commissioner Kelly.
None, thanks.
No, thank you.
None.
I just have one, and it kind of deals on a national issue with the bank failures. And I know I was hoping our county treasurer would be here, but I just kind of want to let the taxpayers of Sarpy County know that there are a lot of checks and balances, and there's a lot of money that comes into the treasurers at certain times of the year, and obviously it's a hard task to try to keep all the money under the $250,000 FDIC rules that are out there. And so we asked the bank for collateral or to collateralize, and we've been doing that, and they consistently. And so with some of the things going on, it's hopefully the Midwest seems to be stronger in that than the East and the West Coast, but just kind of rest assured there are a lot of things that are in place that are being done well here to protect the taxpayers' money. So,
Dan? Okay. We'll move on to the consent commissioners agenda. Would anybody like to see any items removed from the consent agenda? If not, I'll take a motion.
Motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
Move to approve by Commissioner Warren, seconded by Commissioner Klug. Any discussion? Please vote.
Ayes 5, nays none, motion carried.
Item 5.1 is a public hearing and resolution 2023-066, rezoning from AG Agricultural Farming District with Highway Corridor Overlay to RE1 Residential Estates 1 District with Highway Corridor Overlay for a subdivision to be known as Lot 1, SCCWWA Lift Station Number 1, Sarpy County, Nebraska. The property is commonly addressed 14775 South 63rd Street and is generally located northeast of South 63rd Street and Platteview Road. Applicant, Sarpy County and City's Wastewater Agency, Jason Kubicek, planner.
Right. Well, I'm going to present all 6 of the items together because really this is 2 different properties, both concerned with the agency and the lift stations. So I'm just going to present those together if that's
That
okay.
would be wonderful. Renee, do you need me to read all of them in?
Yeah.
Okay, why don't I do that real quick, Jason, and then I'll let you go. Item 5.2 is public hearing resolution 2023-067, preliminary plat of a subdivision to be known as Lot 1, SCCWWA Lift Station Number 1, being a platting of a tract of land located in part of the northeast quarter of the southeast quarter of Section 13, Township 13 North, Range 12 east of the 6th PM, Sarpy County, Nebraska. The property is commonly addressed as 14775 South 63rd Street and is generally located northeast of South 63rd Street and Platteview Road. Applicant, Sarpy County County and Cities Wastewater Agency, Jason Kubicek, planner. Item 5.3 is public hearing and resolution 2023-068, final plat of a subdivision to be known as Lot 1, SCCWWA Lift Station Number 1, being a platting of a tract of land located in part of the northeast quarter of the southeast quarter of Section 13, Township 13 North, Range 12, east of the 6th PM, Sarpy County, Nebraska. The property is commonly addressed as 14775 South 63rd Street and is generally located northeast of a South 63rd Street and Platteview Road. Applicant, Sarpy County and Cities Wastewater Agency, Jason Kubicek, planner. Item 5.4, Public hearing and resolution 2023-069, rezoning from AG Agricultural Farming District to RS 100, Single-Family Residential District for a subdivision to be known as Lot 1, SCC WWA Lift Station Number 2, Sarpy County, Nebraska. The property is commonly addressed as 10490 Mitchell Road and is generally located north of Mitchell Road between 99th Street and 108th Street. Applicant Sarpy County and City's wastewater agency, Jason Kubicek, planner. Item 5.5 is public hearing and resolution 2023-070, preliminary plat of a subdivision to be known as Lot 1, SCC WWA Lift Station Number 2, being a platting of a tract of land located in the part of the northeast quarter of the southwest quarter of Section 21, Township 13 North, Range 12 east of the 6 p.m., Sarpy County, Nebraska. The property is commonly addressed 10490 Mitchell Road and is generally located north of Mitchell Road between 99th Street and 108th Street. Applicant Sarpy County and City's wastewater agency, Jason Kubicek, planner. And 5.6, public hearing and resolution 2023-071. Final plat of a subdivision to be known as Lot 1, SCC WWA Lift Station Number 2, being a platting of a tract of land located in part of the northeast quarter of the southwest quarter of Section 21, Township 13 North, Range 12 east of the 6th p.m., Sarpy County, Nebraska. The property is commonly addressed 10490 Mitchell Road and is generally located north of Mitchell Road between 99th Street and 108th Street. Applicant Sarpy County and City's wastewater agency, Jason Kubicek, planner. Dan, next time, SCC WWA could be much shorter.
But wait,
That's all right.
but wait, there's more. I think you skipped 5.2.
I was almost got my bracket filled out.
I
while
think you did.
No, I was not filling my bracket.
Should we take a break or?
Skipped one.
So I got this map up here. These kind of show the two different areas in green that we're talking about, just to give a perspective of the area. But so I'll get started here. Good afternoon, commissioners. The notice of the public hearings, these public hearings were published in an area newspaper. The subject properties were posted with a sign indicating a zoning action was pending.
I'm sorry to interrupt.
Oh,
It's not showing.
I don't know how to get that to change.
Sorry, I thought that was you on
I don't know. Is there a button up here now
the, no?
to hit? I think it's on the,
They're trying.
okay.
I'm sorry to interrupt.
No, you're fine.
I think you can continue while.
Yeah. I'll go back to the map here once we get in there. Oh, I want that open.
Well, I'm not sure why it's not changing. Oh, yeah, you might have to change it.
So I'll just keep going with this. The Sarpy County and City's wastewater agency is asking for approval of rezoning preliminary and final plats for two separate sites where they plan to construct a sanitary sewer lift station on each site. First property is to be known as Lot 1 SCC WWA Lift Station Number 1, and it's in an area of the county that has requirements described in Section 32, build through overlay zoning regulation. The applicant has requested an exception pursuant to Appendix C of the Sarpy County Comprehensive Plan, and staff supports granting that exception for this property as the proposed lift station furthers the utilities and infrastructure goals stated in the comprehensive plan. Staff also recommends approval of the rezoning preliminary and final plats for Lot 1 SCC WWA Lift Station Number 1 as stated in Exhibit A of the proposed resolutions 2023-066 through 068. And so that would be this property up here. And this is the aerial of it. And that's the platting. The second property is commonly addressed as 10490 Mitchell Road. And that one is right here. Staff also recommends approval of the rezoning preliminary and final plats for Lot 1, SEC WWA Lift Station Number 2, as stated in Exhibit A of proposed resolutions 2023-069 through 071. Staff makes all of these recommendations as the proposals are consistent with the Sarpy County Comprehensive Plan and comply with the requirements of the Sarpy County zoning and subdivision regulations. So,
Any questions for Jason? Okay, this is a public hearing. I think we can, oh, Jeff?
Hi,
Hello.
Chair Burmeister, County Commissioners, Jeff
From
Thompson.
the SCCCWAAA.
Jeff Thompson, Project Engineer for the Sarpy County Cities Wastewater Agency. Just wanted to go through a real quick presentation to give you a little deeper dive into the details of these lift stations. So I will pull up the PowerPoint here. Real quick. Switch that over. Perfect. So again, just general reference of the two site locations that we're talking about here. 63rd Street and just north of Platteview Road is the Zweibel Creek lift station. Mitchell Road lift station is the whistle-looking symbol in the middle of the page there around 99th and Mitchell Road. Again, Jason went through kind of a zoomed-in picture of the site details and plat, so I won't go through that in a lot of detail, but we'll give you just kind of general concept of the site plan. I know there's a lot of line work going on here, but what you're seeing is landscaping along the frontage of 63rd Street at the Zweibel Creek Lift Station. A lot of the boxes and circles that you're seeing there are underground infrastructure, a wet well, a metering vault, a valve vault, collection distribution manholes, things of that nature. There is an above-ground structure that is an electrical building, and there is also a above-ground generator that will have a noise attenuator, but for all general purposes, most of the infrastructure on these sites will be below ground, except for the one electrical building, which is 12 by 25 is the footprint of those particular buildings. I know aesthetics are always something that is of concern, so thought I'd throw a picture in here representative of something similar to what we're proposing here. The color palette that we've actually selected is more of a gray and black tone as opposed to the earth tones, but gives you kind of a rough idea of the look and feel of the buildings itself. The lift station at Zweibel Creek is actually under construction at 63rd Street. You're standing south towards Platteview Road, looking straight north. And that image, this image, you're actually standing west looking east. And then this is north looking south, just to kind of give you a perspective. The project is under construction. You can kind of see a lot of the underground infrastructure work being completed at this time. Again, Mitchell Road is centered in the middle of those two. Again, zoomed in site plan of the general location, the plat itself, and then a similar site plan with the same general features as far as the electrical building, the generator, and those kinds of things on site. So be happy to answer any questions.
Questions for Jeff?
The one thing I've learned over the years, lift stations fail. Is there ample duplicity set into these things? So obviously, with no electricity, you've got a
Generator.
yeah.
Yep, the emergency generator's on site, so in the event we have a loss of power, it's an automatic transfer switch, so that once it loses primary power, it knows and actually switches over to the secondary, which is the generator. The pumps are redundant. There's actually a service pump that's inside as well as a backup pump. These are actually sized for 4 pumps once ultimate build out is in place, but there'd be 3 duty pumps and then 1 standby pump. So we always had a high level of redundancy. Obviously, maintenance and preventative maintenance is a key part of our operational plan, and we'll need to make sure we're on top of that and continue to take care of things as time progresses, but it's just like owning a home.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Any other questions for Jeff?
Thank you.
This is a public hearing. We'll take all of the items at once. Does anybody want to, anybody from the public want to comment on these? Items number 5.1 through 5.6. Seeing no one running to the podium, I'll close the public hearing and we'll take them one at a time, starting with item 5.1, which is Resolution 2023-066.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Move to approve by Commissioner Klug, seconded by Commissioner Mixon. Any discussion? Please vote.
Ayes 5, nays none, motion carried.
Item number 5.2 is Resolution 2023-067.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Klug, second by Commissioner Mixon. Any discussion? Please vote.
Ayes 5, nays none, motion carried.
Item 5.3 is Resolution 2023-068.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Move to approve by Commissioner Klug, second by Commissioner Warren. Any discussion? Please vote.
Ayes 5, nays none, motion carried.
Item 5.4 is Resolution 2023-069.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Move to approve by Commissioner Klug, second by Commissioner Warren. Any discussion? Please vote.
Ayes 5, nays none, motion carried.
Item 5.5 is Resolution 2023-070.
Motion to approve.
Move to approve by Commissioner Klug,
Second.
seconded by Commissioner Warren. Any discussion? Please vote.
Ayes 5, nays none, motion carried.
And item 5.6 is Resolution 2023-071.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Move to approve by Commissioner Klug, second by Commissioner Mixon. Any discussion? Please vote.
Ayes 5, nays none, motion carried.
Item 6.1 is Resolution 2023-056, award the low bid to Newverth Construction, Inc. for the Commerce Lift Station Replacement Project in the amount of $2,144,269. Scott Bovick, Deputy County Administrator.
We didn't plan this to have all these lift stations on your agenda, but I guess we're in the sewer business in a lot of ways. But on your screen, you can see the drainage basin for the Commerce Lift Station. When the county built the sanitary sewer system 30 years ago, we built a Commerce Lift Station in the yellow area there, because that pink area does flow downhill to that lift station. That lift station then pumps up, you can see through the green, then to the blue, then into a gravity line called the Highway Crossing Gravity Sewer. That lift station has had some wear and tear over the years because of the industrial waste that's been going into it from the development in the area, and it's undersized to serve all the pink basin. So we've had on the list to do for a while, upgrading, expanding, replacing the Commerce Lift Station. Because the amount of development that we anticipate happening in the pink, mostly on the southern area of that basin, we are moving forward with a replacement of the lift station. The engineer's estimate for this project was around $2.6 million. We received two bids, the low bid being the $2,144,000 and one other bid at $4.8 million. Newverth Construction has experience in lift stations. HDR, who's our consulting engineer on this project, has worked with them in the past on projects and had successful lift station projects. With that, I'm happy to answer any questions the board may have.
Any questions for Scott?
Motion to approve 2023-056.
Second.
Move to approve by Commissioner Warren, seconded by Commissioner Klug. Any discussion? Please vote.
Ayes 5, nays none, motion carried.
Okay, I think we will do the next three together, so I'll read them in really quick again, and then we'll do your explanation together, and then we'll do the public hearing together, and then vote separately.
Sounds good.
Okay, Item 6.2 is public hearing and resolution 2023-060, sale of excess property identified as Outlot F, Giles Point, project C77 17-1 and 18-1, C77 25-6 as part of the Connect Sarpy project. Scott Bovick, Deputy Administrator. 6.3 is public hearing and resolution 2023-041, sale of excess property identified as part of Outlot H, Giles Point, project C77 17-1 and 18-1, C77 25-6 as part of the Connect Sarpy project. Scott Bovick, Deputy Administrator, and public hearing and resolution 2023-059 is number 6.4, sale of excess property identified as Outlot H, Windsor West, project C77 17-1 and 18-1, C77 25-6, part of the Connect Sarpy project. Scott Bovick, Deputy Administrator.
Thank you, Commissioner. Today, we're here to talk about three parcels that we're asking the county board to make available for sale under the statutory process. When the county wants to sell a property that they own, the county board needs to hold a public hearing and then set a market value, fair market value, and then post that property for open bid for anyone to bid on that property. The statute then says you need to complete the process within 60 days. You can either, if you get bids, you need to accept the high bid. If the bids are lower than what you find favorable, you have the opportunity to negotiate. And then finally, you're not required to sell or go through with the sale if you're not satisfied with the price offered. A little bit of history. So today we'll have the public hearings, then we have a recommendation for you in the resolutions on what to set the fair market value. Then we want to start the publication of the bid process. We'll get those results and bring them back to you. It's still on Google Earth, the map of what this area looked like 4 years ago before we started our Connect Sarpy project. And I would just start with a little bit of history. Probably about 8 years ago, as the county examined what to do in this area, 180th Street would run and connect here at grade, right where a railroad crossing intersected. And there was there's been fatality accidents there. It was not a good situation. And all the roads in the area were gravel, unimproved. 180th Street came straight to the north and connected perpendicular to Giles Road, which went east-west. Years ago, when we were looking at long-term road planning and understanding that Omaha had made 180th Street a key corridor, we were trying to figure out how we carry that 180th Street corridor all the way down to 370 and eventually a new interstate interchange. And through the engineering work, it was determined that the best path was to try to cross, again, perpendicular to the railroad crossing and the creek in that area. And so the need to realign the road here caused us to also create a loop here, and in that case, go off alignment and requiring us to get creative in how we purchased right away from some of the surrounding properties. When we did that about 4 years ago, working with the various property owners in the area, we did create some islands or some unique parcels that culminated after purchasing the right-of-way that we needed and moving off of the existing right-of-way of 180th and Giles. And so the county proceeded with purchasing the right-of-way that we needed. During that time, the development community in the area continued to request, hey, at some point, is this property going to be available? The staff's position was, we're not going to consider anything until we get to the, to the end of the project and we know where the corridor is going, everything's in place, we can have a better idea of analyzing that. So you can see this is the 2022 aerials, so they're already a year old, but you can see how the pavement has been realigned, and the three parcels that we're talking about today are these three that I've highlighted here. Outlot H, adjacent to Windsor East, Outlot H, adjacent to Giles Point, and then Outlot F, adjacent to the Windsor West development. So each of these properties are different. They have different characteristics of them. So we would offer them for sale each individually. But starting with Outlot H of Windsor East, that property, details on that property if I can get it there. It's a 0.2 acre tract, so about 8,800 square feet. The county purchased the right-of-way from this developer for $45,000 an acre. That would mean that what you essentially paid for this lot is $9,045. You know, outside of any other better information to assign a fair market value to this parcel, our recommendation is that the county place the fair market value at what you purchased it for. Moving on to to Outlot H of Giles Point, that is a 0.17 acre tract, which is about 7,500 square feet, and the county paid $52,157 an acre, which is $8,867 for this tract. And so again, staff's recommendation is that fair market value is that amount. The Outlot F of Giles Point, adjacent to Windsor West, is obviously a little different. It's about a 3.4 acre tract. You know, we really felt like we needed to get that much property so that we could make sure that we could do what we needed to do with the intersection there. You know, when we purchased that lot again, we purchased it at a rate of $52,157 an acre, and so that total cost is $176,761. Those three amounts are in your resolution today, if that's the fair market value as you see it. One thing that is important to know about this property is because of the size of it, we will be requiring a road contribution for the adjacency, which is our policy. And we're projecting that amount to be at $225,000. So whoever the owner is, once they want to develop it and use it, they would be responsible for contributing to the county for that frontage. I will note that the lot adjacent to Windsor East and the lot adjacent to Giles Point, those have already contributed as part of their development. We just counted that frontage. With this lot, it was a little bit different situation to be able to do that. Again, process going forward, if you pass the three resolutions today, we'll post those for sale. We have to, it's a closed bid process, so bid process. We'll open those bids, we'll make the county board aware of them, and then depending upon the bids, we can take each parcel case-by-case basis and evaluate what the county board's wishes are. With that, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Two questions. Is there ingress, egress to all three parcels?
No. If you look at Outlot H of Windsor East, that will not have access to Giles. The only access that's available there is 177th Street. On this parcel, again, there won't be access there. 179th Street would be the access, and then Aurora Street is the access to that parcel. On this parcel, there may be an opportunity, I might have to ask Tony Eaglehoff from Olson to come help here, but there may be an opportunity to have right in, right out, but I would want Tony to talk through the feasibility of that engineering-wise.
Tony Eaglehoff with Olson, serving as the program manager for the Connect SRB program. Yeah, so in particular for Outlot F here, there would be the possibility of a right in, right out off of 180th Street, approximately here, just based on the existing right-of-ways that are there. So yes, this could receive a right in, right out if that were to be an isolated property.
So I guess legal question is, can we sell parcels that don't have ingress, egress?
Yes.
I thought that was a requirement of a sale.
Well, let me clarify that. Yeah, I mean, we cannot create islands. So, but right now there exists right of way along each of those parcels. And so I know that Scott didn't want to get into it today, but I mean, as of today, the right of way does exist. At some point, if the, comes forward that we vacate the right of way, then we would have to look at the vacation piece and see if we're going to vacate all of it, or if we need to create something with that outlot there.
Okay, thank you.
What's the zoning on all three pieces? All the same?
Let me see.
Current zoning?
Looks like the zoning is residential. I think R4 is more dense residential versus R2, which is is more like single-family dwelling. So I think on R4, and this is really in Gretna's zoning jurisdiction now, on R4 you can do multifamily.
So, well, what's the 3.4 acre piece? Am I seeing that differently?
That looks like it's zoned R2 at this point,
Oh, okay.
right there.
So then the other question is, a zoning change, is that all set? And Jason's here, so I don't know if, can the zoning be changed on that 3.4 acre?
The zoning can be changed. It's in Gretna's jurisdiction, so the Gretna Planning Commission and the Gretna City Council would have to make that change.
But everything around it is residential?
Everything around it's residential, yeah, at
Okay.
this point.
Other questions for Scott or Tony? It's a public hearing. Does anybody want to comment on items 6.1, or 6.2 to 6.4? Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing and we'll take up item 6.2, which is Resolution 2023-060.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Move to approve by Commissioner Warren, seconded by Commissioner Klug. Any discussion? Please vote.
Ayes 5, nays none, motion carried.
Next is item 6.3, which is Resolution 2023-041.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Move to approve by Commissioner Warren, seconded by Commissioner Klug. Any discussion? Please vote.
Ayes 5, nays none, motion carried.
Item 6.4 is Resolution 2023-059.
So moved.
Second.
Move to approve by Commissioner Warren, seconded by Commissioner Klug. Any discussion? Please vote.
Ayes 5, nays none, motion carried.
All agenda items having been addressed as published, the Board of Commissioners is adjourned.